Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, The Last Ronin. I got a lot to say about this. This is a really amazing book. I know I'm really late in the review. For some reason, this was the last book I was really holding out on reading this. There was so much expectation by me and by others for the book that it kind of like stymied my desire to read it because I didn't want it to suck. It didn't suck. It was really good. This out of IDW, of course, and they got the original creators back. So this is going to be a very spoiler-filled review. No, this does not say who it actually is. This is R for Ronin. I'm going to be talking spoilers in this, and yeah, let's get talking about who made the comic book first. So The Last Ronin, story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts by Kevin Eastman on pencils. Inks by Esau and Isaac Escorza, excuse me. I love that Esau and Isaac are responsible for something together on this book. Anybody who's familiar with the Old Testament knows why. Page 39 art, Ben Bishop, sure, because I'm going to start counting the pages. It's not like they're numbered or anything. And color assist by Samuel Plata. Regular color is done by Luis Antonio Delgado, and letters by Sean Lee. There are a lot of freaking covers for this comic book because this was highly expected, highly anticipated to do sales. I don't think they expected to be this many sales. They're actually going to do a second print with a brand new variant cover that's going to be a thank you cover. That is sick. That's when you know that you did a bang up job on this comic. Also, for the sake of conversation, I just want to give an extra shout to Tom Waltz. Apparently, he made this whole thing come together. I mean, for the love of God, you've actually got, what have you now? The original creators for the comic book coming back together to do this future old man story, which is essentially what this is. I don't know if anybody else has mentioned that in other reviews, written or video or otherwise. I don't watch other people's reviews. Even I don't read other people's stuff. And if anybody tried to give any kind of spoilers, I really quickly shut that crap down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just like, bye, I took a walk. You know, peace and how you be. All things being what they are, though, damn, this really did live up to the expectations. This did live up to the hype. I wish I would have read this earlier in the week. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with, this being what it is. So again, spoilers for this comic book. We see a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. He seems to be, at first the appearances are that he's leading a pack of people. I don't know if they're survivors or they're fighters or they're new recruits or whatever. We know that he's, the only the last of the brothers still alive, But who are these other people who are following him? They're always off screen. They're off camera, so to speak, off panel. So it doesn't take too damn long before you realize that it's actually his brothers, the ghosts of his brothers. And all of their bandanas are off. And he's wearing a black bandana. So we have no idea which brother this is. It's funny, I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, yeah, the creators never liked that the cartoon put them in different colored bandanas. Like, it's so stupid. Just because the creators say something doesn't mean it's true. I actually like the different color bandanas. And I just think it's funny that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the four most absurd words imaginable, strung together to make an actual character, four of them, in fact, and a whole litany of, the ooze, got these guys, and they're turtles, and they grow older, and a rat taught them how to, do the martial arts and learned how to speak and all these crazy things that are going on, but it's the colored bandanas that are too far-fetched for you. Okay, cool, man. Hey, we're all entitled to our opinions, but at the end of the day, come on. Anyway, I love that they did keep it a secret literally until not just the last page, not just the last panel, but the last word spoken finally told us which turtle this is. And it could have been any of the turtles. I mean, when you think about it, all four of these would have been really impressive. It was Leonardo. It's like, here's the guy who he's defined by who his brothers are and what they mean to him. All of them really rely on each other, whether they like to admit it or not. We'll get into Raphael in a moment. But I mean, Leonardo, there are two things that define him and define his motives and his actions. One is his code. He adheres to a strict code of Bushido, which is samurai, more than anybody else. So that actually made me think that, Ronin, that's a lost samurai. That's a samurai without a master. It only made sense that the only one who actually was, if not the training of a samurai, certainly the attitude, the spirit of the samurai. I figured this was definitely going to be Leonardo. You know what I'm saying? That's where my money was on. It was not. What do you call it? But it would have made sense if it was him anyway. It could have been Raphael. I mean, it only made sense. They also had the Ronin symbol on the back, which, it's actually Ronin, not Raphael. It wasn't Raphael. If it was Raph, it's like that would have been really dangerous and deadly. He was the one I was hoping most it was not going to be, because it was just going to be an unrealistic story if that was the case. If all the brothers had died and Raphael was left by himself, no, he would have died pretty much immediately afterwards. I can't see him running from a fight, especially when his brothers are not only being killed, but have been killed. I can't see him running from a fight. The only thing that has kept Raphael alive is not just his much greater mass and his much better strength than his brothers. It's not just, that he's an absolute badass and he's willing to go in and get into pick any fight because he knows or he believes he can handle it. No, it's because his brothers have held him back a lot and saved his life by saying, Raph, this isn't the day. Like, that has saved his life more than anything else. It's funny, the guy who wants his independence the most relies on his brothers for his survival more than any of the other brothers. It could have been Donatello, and this was actually my second choice. Because I thought, if it's Donatello, it's like, here's this cat who's just like, his confidence is built around the one thing that makes him unique from all of the turtles. None of the other turtles are anywhere near the level of what Donatello is. He's the guy who invents things, and he doesn't even believe in his inventions for the most part because his brothers don't believe in his inventions, until they need him. He's kind of like the Teenage Mutant lawyer turtle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hates lawyers until you need one. And that's pretty much what Donatello is. Oh, your stupid inventions, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we could really use one of Donnie's inventions right now. Yeah, you sure could. It's always when it's too late. So his confidence is always shook. He's not the most physical guy because he spends most of his time doing his inventions. So he doesn't feel like he fits in with the rest of the turtles. And he doesn't. But his uniqueness is what makes him shine and what makes him one of my absolute favorite turtles. No, instead it was Mikey. It was Mikey, and this actually made the most sense if I would have actually thought about it just a couple of seconds longer, I'm sure. Mikey's the one who's always been not so serious. He's always been the one who's just, he's more defined by his love of pizza. I know they all love pizza, but let's be realistic. You could take this to a certain level of, freaking insanity. This guy is psychopathic for pizza. You know what I'm saying? That's not just a regular old alliteration. No, that's real. That's real talk right there. Goes crazy for the freaking pizza. And the nunchaku. Like, he's the most unrealistic of these unrealistic characters when you think about it. When I studied Tokukoden Ninjutsu Ryu in Ohio, bro, you know what I'm saying? The first thing I think that any of us learned is the bow staff. But, I got exceptionally good with the katana and with the knife. You know what I'm saying? It was just, and being able to use them both at the same time is a skill I have yet to actually master. I am not Artemis and Triri. Yet, that being said, I would love to be able to do that one of these days. My sword fighting days are more decorative than anything else nowadays. All that being what they were, all the weapons that are used by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actually make sense, with the exception of Mikey. Nunchaku? Seriously? What are nunchaku? This is the most unrealistic weapon imaginable. Some people say, oh, it's more of a defensive weapon. No, it's more of a showmanship weapon. You can't use this in a real fight. It's ridiculous. The whole Bruce Lee thing, really great for cinema. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, it's really great for cinema. But for the love of God, you know what they have nunchaku for in tournaments? Solo demo stuff. It's like doing katas. There's a reason why they don't do group katas, because it would suck. So would nunchaku fights. They would suck, all right? Nunchaku were stupid. They're absolutely stupid. And being able to do all of this stuff and flipping around and whatnot, now imagine actually striking somebody with a nunchaku. Oh, that changes your whole freaking flip game, right? Especially considering the fact that even if you hit them in the head or wherever you're going to hit them, the body isn't square. So you're not going to do a perfect hit where it's going to come back where you think it's going to come back. You can't anticipate where it's going to come back. You really can't. Nice try, though. It's the most ridiculous weapon, which is why Mikey's the most ridiculous of the turtles. So therefore, wouldn't it make the most sense that he would be the one that would be the old man, right? I love the idea I love the idea that they used Mikey of all the characters here. Now, they have the one character here, the ultimate bad guy who actually survived everything. What the frick is this freaking guy's name? Oroko Hiroto. So apparently this is Shredder's grandson. I had to look that up because I didn't read it. I watched the cartoon. I read the original comic book after I watched the first season of the cartoon. I didn't have the first print, so I'm not sad that I lost that book. Maybe it was like third, fourth print by that time. Anyway, they're up to like 600 prints by now, I think. Anyway, I'm not being that facetious with it. What do you call it? I know a bunch of the Batman versus stuff. Like I don't know, man. I watch the movies. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that inundated with the Turtles, but I know the history of the Turtles in general. I know there's a female turtle out there. Notice she didn't even get mentioned in here. You know what I'm saying? There was no insinuation that she actually existed in here because the creators actually didn't like her that much. All that being what it is, this having that character as the main bad guy, I guess that makes sense since everybody else is like super old in this in the first place. Like Master Shredder and Master Splinter, like these two were really old to begin with, so it wouldn't make sense if they were still alive. Unless like Baxter or Krang did something to keep them going, right? And I don't think the creators really like those characters that much either. All that being whatever, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of this is like the perfect book. Not just to come out nowadays, but the perfect book to see. Have all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stories been told? Probably not. I hope not, even though I don't necessarily read them. I really hope not. But this is a really great story. Now, what I want to see in the comments, by the way, like the video and watch an ad, please. What I'd like to see in the comments is where you think this story should end. And if it does continue, how would it continue? I'll allow you to give me my 2 cents on this. I hope that this ends in a way where we see Mikey doesn't die, but he retires. Like, he just had pretty much all of his bones broken in this, right? Just got poisoned, and the toxic, like, if the Hudson Bay was, bad before, imagine now. So, he's not doing so good. So if he wants to becoming the future Master Splinter character to a whole new group of trainees, I think that'd be great. You know who one of the first trainees should be in this? That Jones character. Yeah, that's right. The person whose bike he stole through entirely coincidence, where some of us would see providence. Matrix reference there. This character is named Jones, and she's street smart, and she's in a biker gang, and she's tough on her own, and yet she seems to have sided with the Turtles, even though this turtle had stolen her bike. Casey Jones relation, anyone? Seeing April O'Neil in this also, Grandma April, and this girl seems to have brought her in. Did Casey Jones and April wind up having a kid or two? I'm very interested to see where this goes. And I'm really enjoying everything that I see in this book so far. I'm glad that they brought April back. She's the linchpin of these characters. I know a lot of people think Master Shredder is. No. When you think about it, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Master Shredder aren't and never were human. So how exactly would they fit in with the human world, right? Especially all the way over here in America, where Master Shredder for the Master Splinter, for the most part, was only able to teach them what little he knew from his master back in Japan. No. Aside from television and ordering pizza, what the hell did the Turtles know about the outside world until they met April? She's the main reason why they're so relatable. So seeing that April is still in this was the most sensible of a very sensible story. I loved this book. Literally did zero wrong in this entire book. We know what Mikey's mission is. We know where it's got to go. We know that now the guy, like, he lost the element of surprise at this point because he didn't have a good plan. Because let's be realistic, the planner was always Leo, but Leo's only a hypothetical voice in his mind at this point. It's not actually Leo. He's acting more like Raphael at this point, right? Even when Donatello goes and speaks up, we need, you could hack into such and such yeah, but there's no time for that now. Actually, Mikey never knew how to do that stuff in the first place. So it was more like he was relying on his brothers, but knowing that he can't rely on his brothers for the things that they do. And Mikey is acting very out of character. In order for Mikey to win, he's got to be him while keeping the appropriate voices of his brothers in his mind. I'm really hoping that's where this is going to go. But either way, so far, based on this first issue, forget about it. Don't forget Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles, my local comic book store, has a variant out also. Go to their website and check all that good stuff out. This was fantastic, guys. Worth a measly $8.99. That's all you're going to charge me for a bound book? Hello, there's a spine on this puppy. I just kind of wish there was a design like this design on the side. Maybe wouldn't have been the greatest thing in the world, but it would have been pretty cool to have all four of these together with that Ronin sign that looks like a Raivu from Futhark. But that would have been perfect to have that on the side and just have all four of them together. Oh, God, that's the only thing missing. The only complaint that I have about this book, this series. Anyway, guys, it's good. Go out, read it. In comments below, what do you think is going to happen at the end of this? And do you hope that they're going to move forward if your theory pans out to be true? Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Like a video, watch an ad. Class dismissed.